All right, I'll jump straight in. Welcome to Friday Forum, November 18th, 2022. Packed week this week, so I'm going to move as quickly as I can through this. Biggest news, I think, at the top is going to be we've got the non-prescription IRB pathway live. And this is, the way the original study was designed was to enable people to opt in to a really kind of groundbreaking study and enroll in what will ultimately form the basis for understanding general population trends in continuous glucose monitoring. And so facilitating an easier enrollment experience for our participants and also reducing logistical overhead for levels. This is a big improvement, and a huge shout out to all the work that went into this. A lot of moving parts here. So it's going to be great to see how this works out and how it improves the experience for those that want to participate in our research. Another big thing, you can see right in the middle, literally next big thing, Levels won the health category of Fast Company's Next Big Things. This is something that we've been in consideration for a few years, and really awesome to see that sort of recognition in a huge publication. A lot of great other companies that we are sharing the page with in other categories. So pretty awesome. Congrats to everybody. This is a recent update. So as everyone knows, we're shifting our focus closer to demand capture and product marketing. And we're going to be testing, this is coming together in real time, but we're going to be testing an email-only promotion for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This is going to go out next week. This is aligned with a lot of the research that's been going on in near real time about how tier one brands approach promotions and in particular savings or discounts. So you can see some of the visuals here that will be accompanying this promotion, and this is an experiment, and it's going to be really interesting to see what we learn here. So appreciate everybody being super flexible as we move fast on these things. Similarly, we are descoping the gifting experiment that's been coming together and sort of transitioning it into what we're going to call the Try It experiment, which will be a $99 direct offer. You could try a single sensor, and this can be sort of a top of funnel on-ramp, so to speak, and will dramatically improve engineering time relative to the gifting process. So this is simpler, faster, kind of the core ethos of experimentation. So exciting to see that and appreciate the work that goes into making these decisions. On Levels Kitchen, the third episode, Power Bowl, went live. I think this is like a 42-minute episode, I believe. A lot of beautiful content and really amazing. So we've collected something like 3,000 new emails through the Levels Kitchen episode series so far, and really awesome. And then also Casey wrote a deep dive, sort of an ultimate guide level deep dive between joint health and metabolic health, talking about her own experience with knee injury and how that came together, or her recovery came together without surgery. And we've gotten like a 40% open rate on that. Really great. I think it's going to form the basis for an ultimate guide on that content topic. And then the content team, you may have seen this or not. I recommend checking it out in Threads. Released a new approach to everyone on content and content for everyone. So everyone on content means our team contributing unique insights across the various functions to the content that we generate. And then content for everyone is really understanding or providing a resource for us to understand how the content team might support us in the functional work that we're doing. Really awesome resources. Please check those out. They apply to everyone at the company. On the Eng team, Geniusy is an agency that we're working on to kind of scale our front end build, currently working on member portal. We've also got the membership renewal portal, which is just about ready for testing. And on the back end, after the e-commerce launch, we're now merging the legacy data warehouse backend with the e-commerce paradigm that we've shifted to. A lot of great work there. On the front end, levels onboarding experience, the stability score UI, the updated stability score UI, and favorited content, which is a really exciting one, are all in sort of small internal group testing. This is mostly the product and Eng team. And from there, it will roll out to the wider company for internal testing before going to the members. And then Labs Trends, which is like Labs V2, and a new app onboarding are both in development. On the memos front, Sonia has put together a really exciting strategy and scalable growth approach for platform-specific distribution. So essentially, we've got all these different channels. Each of them really adapts to content in a different way. It requires a slightly different, or sometimes dramatically different approach to distribution. And so the strategy has been coming together, memo ready for review. See it up here. That we'll kind of discuss about exactly how we will go about scaling the pillar content, key content we're generating, and making sure we're getting the most juice for the squeeze across each channel. And we'll be launching TikTok in early 2023. It's going to be quite an experiment. Let's see, product for content with UK influencers. So we're kicking this off really similar to what we did here in the US, just making sure that people can try our product and provide organic, real testimonial essentially to their audiences. And this was very successful. I'm looking forward to it in the UK. And then lastly, we got some great memos coming out on the research strategy and research communication strategy. So please review those and provide feedback. And then we've also started the process of transitioning the support process for our IRB from the research team to the support team. So shout out to Priya for this and Jesse. Super awesome to see this handoff happening and just leaning into the skill sets across the function. What else here? We got some cool screenshots of the app front end work that's coming together with levels and onboarding. You can see the favorited content, which will be in my data. So we'll be able to access recipes and insights that popped up. See this really cool first swing at a product marketing experiment. So this is Austin diving into the stability score and kind of in 1 minute explaining what this is and why it would be helpful. Alexei provided some great, Alexei's a levels, very close levels member and head of growth at Masterclass. He provided some really great insight into demand capture, how to be thinking about these things. We had great episodes on a whole new level with Chris Palmer. Highly recommend this episode, diving into mental health and metabolic health. And then Kyriakos from Terra, also talking to Ben about future of biosensing, et cetera. You'll see a ton of other great content on here. But with that, I'm going to jump ahead. Travis, wasn't sure if Travis had joined us.
Travis did join.
Awesome. Travis, I want to welcome Travis, who's a partner of Levels, YouTuber on Learn with Travis, super interested in health, technology, the outdoors. Really exciting to have you here with us, Travis. I would love to just kind of like yield the floor here to you and hear your thinking, your excitement. What are you looking forward to in the space of health and technology specifically?
Yeah, so, I'm happy to talk about whatever you guys want, but when I think about things that I want to cover on my channel, I like to pretend like if I could go back 30 years in time and tell someone this product is going to do this, and what would their reaction be? When I think of Levels, I think you're going to tell someone that you're going to take a device, put it on their arm, it's going to capture information, hold it on there, and until you take your phone, put it on that device, it ports it over through the air, and then Levels is going to do all the magic that it does. What would their reaction be? And then, telling them with Levels, it's going to have all the ability to show you those key pieces of information, the second by second information, how your meals match up, how your exercise matches up, and then tell you, here's where you have room for improvement, here's things you can do, and all those teaching opportunities. And I think if you could tell someone that 30 years ago, they'd just be like, no, that's not going to happen. And that's what I love on my channel. I want products and things like that, and Levels is the epitome of that. So I get really excited about what Levels is, because to be honest, sometimes when I look at products like, okay, I know people will take advantage of this, they'll probably like the review, hopefully I can help them make a more informed decision, but it's not necessarily exciting to me. And Levels just is exciting because of what it can do and what it can bring to people. And I love how it can really teach people how to be healthier and focus on their wellness in more natural ways. It's not some quick fix, fad diet, pill, or anything like that. You're really learning about what's going on in your body, and you can make much better decisions. So end-to-end Levels, I really love it. I'm excited to make a lot more content about it. I got a lot of ideas I'm getting ready to do here soon. So I'm thoroughly excited. I think you guys have built a fantastic product. Something else I really like about what you guys have done is it motivates you, because if you pick up that bad piece of food and that Levels are going to be watching you, and it's going to show up in the app, and you're going to see those charts go off, you might put that food back down and make a better choice. And just the motivation, the accountability, all those kind of things, I love it. And I love how you integrate the learning. And I hope you guys just keep pushing that forward, because that is something special. I think a lot of people get stuck with, yeah, I know I do things wrong, but I don't know how to do them right. And teaching people how to do that, I think that's very empowering. So I really, really like that. And as far as working with you guys, I'm very, very excited. I think there's a lot of things we can do, and I got some ideas, and I'm ready to keep marching forward. But if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Well, no, I love those themes, and I think specifically, you clicked on one thing there, which I love especially, which is Levels is a tool, and it's an informational tool. It's not a dogma. It's not a fad diet or a dietary philosophy even. it's using objective data and helping people to understand how they can take their own dietary philosophy or their own whatever restrictions they might have dietarily or in lifestyle and adapt to it. And so it's really communicators like yourself who understand the technology, understand the health implications, and can help others understand how that maps onto them and their interests. That's just a huge translation layer. Really, really appreciate you partnering with us and helping us get that message out. With your experience so far and what you know or are excited for in the future, what do you want that doesn't yet exist in the Levels ecosystem? Either whether this is a feature or a new product, what would you hope to see that would take metabolic health to the next level, in your opinion?
I would love to see it break down meals. Like, so when you enter a meal and it knows the ingredients, it's going to say, we saw you ate tacos, and we saw a glucose spike of this amount, and so it didn't work in your favors. And maybe immediately offer a substitute chart right there on the spot. Like, if you use these ingredients, consider swapping to these. These are do not impact glucose levels near as much. They're more healthy alternatives, stabilizing all those things that you want to stabilize with your blood sugar, glucose levels. I think that'd be really neat, because I think a lot of people, they don't want to leave the meal that they're eating. They still want their tacos. They don't want to just go to chicken and broccoli, which a lot of people, I think, when they think of losing weight, they're like, oh, I just got to eat stuff like that. No, you could still have tacos, but instead of these two ingredients, substitute them with these. And now that same meal that you love is still very enjoyable, but you have an alternative that lets you still do what you want to do, not feel like you're just miserable eating foods you don't want to. You still get to eat what you want. We're just helping you do it better. So I think real-time like integrations like that, understanding changes you can make to what you enjoy and want to keep doing, I think that could be a really nice.
Love that. Yeah, the very basis of this sort of thing is coming together with our healthier food choices features, where we can, exactly like that, index on something that someone's eating and maybe has a negative response to it, but there's so much emotion wrapped up into food. It will never work to just say, oh, you got to abandon this because of that bad score. So substituting and providing insight into how other people are responding to these ingredients is it's a super huge leap that we got to take, and we're taking the first steps. So
I like it.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it and seeing you sort of continue to explain to your audience and to new audiences how these sort of features can help them out. Travis, really appreciate you joining us this morning. If you'd like to stick around for the rest of the meeting, please do. The team really gets a ton out of this sort of hearing how people like yourself are seeing the product, using the product, and hoping to see evolution in the product. So thanks for joining us this morning.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right. I want to jump ahead and welcome Juan to the backend software engineering team. Juan comes to us from Bogota, Colombia. He and John are now creating a little bit of a hub out there. Juan, would love to hear a few words from you. Welcome to the team.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Very happy to be here. I'll be working with the backend team. Excited about all the things that the company is doing, and also the very strong culture identity that the company has. It's the first time that I feel like a company really is paying a lot of attention to how it does culture and treats a remote team. So yeah, excited about that and start working with everyone. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, we're happy you're here. Everyone, please make yourselves available as Juan onboards into the company, into the culture, into the tools we use. And yeah, excited to have one more reason to get myself down to Colombia. Okay, culture and kudos. So I just want to take a few minutes here and recognize someone that we all know, love, and appreciate as a core part of the Levels journey to this point. You may have seen the final episode of the JM show on Threads. I think he posted it yesterday, but just highlighting a couple of screenshots over the years of JM doing his thing, presenting major updates and major products or projects that he's driven forward. And this last one was one to remember. Just want to thank JM for leaning into everything that we've done here at Levels, building not just inertia and momentum in directions that will take us, I think, much, much further than this point, but also being an example for new people who are coming aboard on how to scale themselves, communicate effectively, and really create, I think, the essence of what Levels is here to do, which is move fast, test things, learn, and build something amazing. And looking forward to staying very close with UJM in the future. Everyone, please, make yourselves available to JM as he kind of tapers out over the next few days. And I know we'll have a strong supporter in JM from this point going forward. So thanks for everything, and it's been great working with you. JM, if you're on, feel free to jump in.
Yeah, of course I'm on. Oh, I didn't think
Sorry.
it would be appropriate. Yeah, thank you, Josh, and thank you, everybody. Do check out the last episode, mostly because I talk about the new blog front end, which I find very exciting. I'll miss you all very much. Thank you to Josh and Sam, and really everybody for everything. It's been a real treat, and I'll miss it. I'll miss it a lot. So be in touch. I'm still in New York, and thanks again.
Love it. All right, JM, thank you. Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to touch on is just a happy 3-year and 2-year, respectively, to Mike DiDonato and Mike Haney. Time has flown. It's pretty amazing to see how quickly people are growing tenure here. So I guess the company's older than 3 years old now, which is kind of hard to believe. So congrats to you two, and thanks for all the work and successes building some amazing stuff. All right, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Justin.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going to talk about know the tools. Essentially, like the tools that we use are things like software, speed hacks, tips and tricks, other resources that we have available to do our jobs, just like a contractor building a home. I got this big toolbox and tons of things in there. But often sometimes people like just dig for the hammer and the screwdriver and the drill, and that's it, and don't touch the rest of the stuff. So it's all about becoming more efficient, reducing frustration, and like essentially producing a better product and supporting a better product in the end. So ways that like we can do that as a team is digging into like documentation or existing memos about current tools that we use that others have like kind of gone over and shared, or the people who made these products specifically tell us how to use them properly. So it's good to like dig in and learn how to use them, especially like when to use specific tools for specific jobs to do things easier. In the end, like practice makes perfect, because like using new tools or even new functions of existing tools can take a bit of time and can upfront, take more time, but save a lot of time later on. Keeping a pulse on like what's out there for new tools, or even just like existing tools, like what are the new features that have been launched, because we don't often, like we're usually using a specific version and maybe we'll just update, but they might add something that can actually make our jobs way easier in the end. So it's like keeping a pulse on that, like maybe following people that do the same job as you on social media or podcasts or blogs, and just keeping up on that, right? Sharing what you discover with the rest of the team is like super helpful and helps us all grow. So like updating existing memos or even creating new ones, new ways of doing things. Essentially, like don't use a hammer to screw in a nail. Like if it seems like it's hard and not working, like there's probably something better that we can seek out and discover. So we all get frustrated whenever we want to do something that feels like it's just way too hard. So just if it feels like that, there's probably something out there that we can find. Some examples for like specific departments, like engineers, it's like really digging into the documentation for like packages we use or libraries to learn when to use like a specific feature in a specific scenario when it makes sense. Because like often you'll just discover that there are much easier ways of writing that same code that can be much simpler to come across in the future and easier for others to understand during review. If you're like working on social stuff, it's making sure we're seeking out like different tools that help, or even strategies that help make it easier to post, track, and improve. If you're in support, it's like make sure you master text expander to be able to like support more members in a given day, but also giving them like clear, properly worded responses that will reduce back and forth with like future support calls. And like for everybody, it's like remembering that we have Athena EAs at our beck and call, I guess, or whatever the saying is, as a resource when doing tasks. So like anytime you're doing something and you're like, I don't like doing this. It seems like I'm doing too much stuff manually. Just remember that that's a tool we have. And also learning keyboard shortcuts to navigate triage through, our comm stuff quicker. Comms is forcing us to do that. And it's something that I personally just haven't used, but I'm getting used to it with comms, and it does make things faster. So it's just a matter of like taking that time to learn that and become, use the tools that we have to be better at our jobs and quicker and better efficient. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you.
It's an easy one to miss just how effective it can be to learn a little bit more about the tools. I fall into this trap all the time. So definitely need a reminder here. And also I learn from others best. So if you have best practices, if you know the tools better than someone else, try to help them out, because it's such a huge force multiplier when we all know how to work with these systems. Thanks a lot, Justin. Appreciate that. Okay, company objectives. So nothing's changed on the main thing. Level shows you how food affects your health. This is the main priority. We're all working towards it. If you don't feel that you are, just raise it with everyone around you. Top level objectives: member retention, new member acquisition, also demand capture, kind of capture those two, and member health improvement. Product is our top priority in Q4. We are starting to escalate demand capture, product marketing, et cetera, to highlight the sell it section here in the middle. And of course, we always need to keep the company lights on. So if you aren't yet familiar, definitely dive into the functional group overviews or taglines and the OKRs behind them. It's really important to know this stuff. I'm going to, there's a dive on expansion that Karen recorded for us. If we have enough time in the meeting, I'm definitely going to play it, but I'm a little afraid that we're going to run over. So I moved that to the end, and we'll hopefully be able to get to it. Okay, with that, I'm going to hand it over to research to do a dive on what you can learn with glucose data.
Thanks, Josh. Hopefully this looks longer than it will actually be. I want to hear Karen's thing. So shamelessly following Haney's format from editorial, let's walk through what research does at levels. So AKA showing you what the heck you can learn with continuous glucose data in people without diabetes. So we can go to the next one. So we'll answer, what is research at levels? What do we do? How do we scale? And how do we communicate? Plus a little bit of overall vision. So one thing you might notice is that most wearable startups don't produce high quality research or research at all, especially this early and not at high volume. But we did something kind of special. So next one. We took something that in people without diabetes was a point measure, the black dots, and decided to offer it to consumers as a continuous curve, the blue line. So this curve is what we are painstakingly trying to help people interpret. I think it's a deeply valuable contribution to society, because whereas historically a single elevated measure could mean a big red flag, and conversely damaging patterns could go unnoticed, we provide a 24/7 picture to help people know what kinds of glucose patterns are normal and what kind of glucose patterns are a problem. So normal things might be an effective time of day, cycle, season, et cetera. So next one. So this was a unique problem in that the product was beginning without a big body of literature to build on. I think most build their products through great reliance on already published work, but we came into a field where we were applying reference ranges and assumptions from diabetes that would make sense for point measures to something that looked more like an EKG. So we didn't have the signal properties already figured out. So, I mean, if you're overweight and went to the doctor and got your glucose level is normal, you might accept it. But if you had chest pain and went to the doctor, they took your pulse and said, your heart rate is normal, you'd probably say, hey, give me an EKG, look at the properties of the shape of that signal and tell me if I'm okay. So our mandate is to do our own research and discover how to interpret that glucose curve in a population without diabetes. So next one. And briefly, we're approaching this by looking at the pattern of how glucose excursions change in people without diabetes. So exemplified by the green at the top, in comparison to things like pre-diabetes, or the transition to well-managed diabetes versus poorly managed diabetes at the bottom. The basic hypothesis is that health is characterized by low amplitude daily and hourly excursions, and that as things get worse, taller, spikier excursions are present. And finally, with the development potentially of something like adipose insulin resistance, those excursions could bleed together into longer, taller hills and an elevated baseline. So all this, although I think this sounds pretty logical, it's something that really needs careful testing and validation for us to confidently make progress. Okay, and then the next part, this made me really happy and want to join here, is that we have this unique attitude of building in public. So most algorithms I've seen with wearables are quite opaque. It's hard to know what goes into them, and they're proprietary. And conversely, in fact, because I think we're working in this very new space, we have to transparently validate our algorithms, how we're improving or not improving member health, and offer it up to your scrutiny and improvement. So we've both taken on a challenge to do our own work to interpret a new signal, and then promise to share the way that we approach that challenge in public. So let's, with that, go on to what we're doing. So what research is for is to be the first line of inquiry to feed development of a cutting edge product, to validate the components of that product that exist already, and then to enable others to learn with glucose data. So I think of this as a cross-section between the scientist at the bench or in the hardware lab doing brand new stuff, the person writing code at night, and a community organizer that's helping translate learnings out to our team and product, to our wider community and audience, and to the research sphere in a participatory manner. So I think the take home there is that the purpose of research is to ensure that when you have a question, it really gets answered. So let's talk about the details in the next one. All right. So I said, first off, our job is to validate the existing software product, and to show if our members are improving, then to enable improvement of the existing software product, and then finally to support hardware. So although this was built just this year, it is very much in progress so far. It looks like on the left-hand side, management. So as you know, running, I think the largest CGM study outside of diabetes, with so far a few 100,000 days of data and almost 10,000 participants in just a few months, as well as overseeing 6 external collaboration groups with academic institutions, and then conducting research operations for hardware. This includes collecting continuous interstitial fluid soon and plasma samples, and there are not many groups in the world that actually do this, so I think that's super cool. On the investigation side, like we talked about, we're analyzing our existing data set to determine which features of glucose dynamics predict health. So TLDR is long spikes are bad, and check out our research pearls and the shape of the glucose curve report to see more details there. To determine if members are improving. The TLDR across different groups who have looked at this seems to be yes, but that improvement does taper off after the first month or two. So more to work on with retention and adding learnings into the later product experience. And then finally, to involve the team and community in each step of the research project or process to speed up translation. So this is when we can't collect data any other way. And honestly, I think when we need to throw a bone to our members and to our team. And so the last part of what we do is communication. So this is like a lot of literature review and rapid translation of tough concepts into easy to manage chunks for passing off to product. And those have been on insulin resistance and levers on insulin resistance, like food, activity, sleep, and the ovulatory cycle. So next one. All right. So overall, as a research agenda, what this looks like is at the first tier, basic data interpretation and validation essentials. So shape of the glucose curve. Right in the middle is content and analyses on those pillars of health for product. So of course, food is our mainstay, but because health kit data on sleep timing and duration, on activity and heart rate, and hopefully pretty soon on temperature deviation to look at the ovulatory cycle are available. We have all of these exciting topics to work on as well. And then finally at the bottom is scaling and extending our reach by collaborating with academic institutions. They might work kind of slow, but they are the way that we get validated by people who are experts in the field and grow our reputation and get good feedback from the outside. All right, next one. So how do we scale? We've talked a little bit before about scaling using participatory research. So this is a method where each question we need to address can be addressed from an N of 1 for very exploratory questions, a team experiment, a community experiment for rapid data label generation and engagement, our bread and butter of retrospective analysis with our existing data set, and then traditional long-term academic collabs. So these methods allow us to quickly scale up and down projects of interest, make sure we keep our work accurate while trying to use our time really efficiently. And then incidentally, these methods make our work much more transparent because artifacts of every method, except for the traditional studies, can be shared out very quickly to our audiences, and the audience can actively participate in the N of 1 community. And then to some extent, any retrospective large studies that involve surveys. And these little icons just show examples of, if you go into the Our Research Questions database, the headlines of projects that we've scaled up through parts of this process. All right. Next one. So as far as communication, just like the general approach to research of trying to start small and fast, the goal for communication is to start small, fast, and accurate by sending out these research pearls. If you haven't seen them yet, they're in weekly updates, and they're getting translated out through our different channels and housed in this research pearl tracker. The goal is also to provide high-level dashboards, including this Dexcom study dashboard that can tell you summaries of who's in the study and their basic glucose characteristics, and then basically to let this build upon itself. So these looms and short reports, research pearls, go out every week. Those go directly to product for feedback and helping them move forward. And then they're translated out to YouTube, some of them to the blog, refined for going into podcasts. And the idea is that at each one of these levels, we get feedback from very different kinds of skilled communicators and lots of questions. And this ends up making our full reports much richer and more accurate. All right, so next one. So overall, our job is to manage these studies from N of 1 to so far almost N of 10,000, to study the shape of the curve and clinical metrics of health, validate algorithms and see how our members are doing and run experiments. And then our communication goal is to start with very small pearls and eventually build up to papers. And if you want to see where our work is, the next and last one. All right, so we have lots of places you can go. Everything is housed on the research wiki. We have some high-level memos, including the latest research strategy one here in the middle, participatory research at the bottom left. If you want to know what questions we're asking, we have a research questions database that's, I think, got over 100 questions in it and that anyone can contribute to. We have the research pearl tracker, and then we have our data reports and Snowflake dashboards. So I think that is it. And then Lynette asked, can we subscribe to Research Pearls? I think this is actually a great idea. We'll probably use Athena to help get these out to the team more efficiently. That's it for today. Thanks for the long update slot, Josh.
Super nice. Thank you, Azure, for, I think that was a super concise way to state a lot of moving parts that are going on in the background. So thanks for simmering that down, and also really enjoying watching the research team kind of pivot into support of product and helping us understand specifically how we can improve our product development process to better health improvements for people. So looking forward to a lot more acceleration in that direction. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. All right, hiring updates. We have no team waiting to join. So Juan is now onboarding, Raphael's onboarding, Adam's onboarding, and that leaves us with a couple general open roles. And if you'd like to submit a general application, please check out levels.link/careers. If you or someone you know is a good fit for Levels or could be in the future, please refer them there. And that brings us to individual contributions. So we got through this nicely. All right, I'm gonna stop the share here. So the way we do this is you can click the little reactions button, raise your hand, and then you can just a couple seconds to share something personal, something professional. I'm going to share something professional. I'm just really stoked about to see the attention sort of shifting quickly to ways that we can really support demand capture and really with JM moving on. Again, I've loved working with JM. He's teed up some amazing projects, some of which we'll have to continue to take over. There's just going to be some shuffling to do, and seeing it happen and seeing all the good faith just working and knowing that some things are going to slip that we had intended to finish out this quarter, but across the board, just prioritizing our work effectively. It's been really nice to see, and I just appreciate all that work and hustle. yeah, looking forward to seeing some of these experiments like the Black Friday thing come together. Personally, I don't have much to report on. Looking forward to Thanksgiving. Azure.
+1 to everything that Chris just said about True Pill. I'm also like really excited about doing more with Haney and Caitlin. The way that they've taken like research pearls and started to transfer them over into drafts of blogs, and then seeing the way that the writers write, and then how we can like add a little bit more scientific content to refine them. It's just super cool and way better than normal science communication. So it makes me really happy. And then personally, I am about to move this weekend. So I'm excited and preemptively tired.
Well, good luck with that. I hate moving. Anybody else want to jump in here? Got a couple minutes left. Ms.
Yeah, big win, Chris, there. And I think Chris just like day over day continues to impress. He's got eyes, ears, and hands everywhere. And sometimes silently, sometimes he's sharing it. But yeah, Chris, thanks for keeping us all afloat. It's awesome. And really helping drive the business in a meaningful way. I think you're catching things that others aren't. So thanks, Chris. JM, it's been real. We'll miss you, but obviously we'll definitely be in touch. But yeah, thanks for all you've contributed and pushed us to do. So that's been great. And then we don't have a forum next week because it's Thanksgiving, but I'm sticking around here in SF, excited for a little bit of quiet and relaxation. These last few weeks, not necessarily in the level sense, just in the world sense, have been kind of nuts. And I'm excited for everything to just calm down and everyone relax. So looking forward to that.
I'm reading between the lines. You're spending a lot of time watching the Twitter debacle, huh?
Of course not.
Mike. Me too. Mike D.
Yeah, I guess I'll just say it's been pretty wild to think like 3 years. Feels like it was like yesterday. And I'm just super grateful to be doing things with all of you. I've learned so many things. It's been amazing to see the product, the team, our members just continue to grow. And I know we have like a ton of work to do, but I'm just really excited for the next like 3+ years. So that's it. And JM, we'll be running soon.
Love that. Haney.
Yeah, I'll echo Mike, although I don't have the 3 years. The 2 years has been incredible. I'm so grateful to be here. I'll call attention to something I just posted in Water Cooler. I saw a piece this morning that what Elon's doing at Twitter is apparently helping to bring back the sleeping at the office kind of culture. And so I just think it's all the more important that we show the world that you don't have to work that way to be wildly successful. So I'm happy to be part of that effort.
Make it so. Although I do sleep at the office or in my home office pretty much every day. So hard to separate those two. Yeah, I love it. Thanks to both of you guys for 3 and 2 awesome years. It's been awesome to watch you guys work. JM, it's been real. Everyone have a great weekend. Thank you all. And actually have 2 great weekends, including the holiday if you're celebrating. And we will see you next week.